barbecue team, and here today we're going to show you how to do a brine and cure on a ham. So this year for Christmas we decided that instead of buying a store-bought ham, we're going to buy a fresh ham, which is uncured, just the back leg of a ham, and we're gonna cure it ourselves, and then we're gonna smoke it on the MackDaddy iCube. So I wanted to go through with you today on this simple brine method. It's easy way to cure your own meat, especially this ham this year. So we've got a simple recipe. We're first going to start off with getting a nice 1 gallon pot of hot water heated up, and then we're going to pour in some simple ingredients. These ingredients are pretty easy to find. I didn't have any problems finding them. You know, we've got some peppercorns, we've got some natural sugar, some turbinado sugar. This here was probably the most difficult thing to find. This here is called Tender Quick salt. You can find pink salt. I found that this one is readily available down next to the Morton salt in the grocery stores. I picked this one up at Wegmans. They've got it at Harris Teeter, a bunch of the grocery stores around, so this one's easier to find. We're gonna use some regular kosher salt here today, and of course we're gonna have some brown sugar. So the recipe here is what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 2 cups of brown sugar and 1 cup of turbinado. You know, I've made this simple. I've already pre-measured this stuff out here, so you guys don't have to see me measuring that. I've been heating up a pot of water here, so it's getting nice and toasty warm. I do recommend using some sort of filtered water, some sort of some water, something like that. You know, we're gonna be letting our meat rest in this. I'd rather not use some tap water or something like that. So if you don't have that access, maybe heat up some water, let it cool down, heat it back up, and use it again. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here, and as I do that, I'm going to stir this stuff around. It's going to help dissolve that a little bit in here. So in this bowl here, I've got a cup and a half of kosher salt. I've got a half a cup of peppercorns, and I've got 8 teaspoons of our quick cure salt here that I'm going to pour in there. Don't worry about writing all this stuff down below in the comments down here. I'll put the recipe for everybody to use. So let me go ahead and pour that in there and stir it up. We're going to want to bring this up to speed. Let all this good stuff mix together and dissolve in there. But you know, it's important to know we want to let this cool completely before we throw it on our meat. We don't want the water to start cooking our meat. We want this to rest for quite a few days here. Average time, I would guess that you're going to be looking at 6 to 8 days. The rule of thumb is kind of 2 pounds per day. We're planning on doing a 15-pound ham this year, and I'll show you prepping the ham and getting this all ready to go too. So we're gonna let this heat up here, dissolve, and then we're gonna be ready to get this onto our ham. So I'll let this go for a while. Next time I see you, we'll be prepping it. So we're back here. We've got the brine, the curing solution all set up. It's getting ready to pour on our ham here. Let me describe what we got here. This is what's called a fresh ham. So this has never been cured before. We could cook this just the way it is, and basically this would be like cooking some sort of pork roast or pork shoulder. So you know, this is very similar meat. What the curing process is going to do is make this that pinkish color, add the saltiness into the meat that you're expecting to have out of a ham. So this is the way it comes. It comes with the skin on, the fat on it, and this one weighs about 20 pounds here. What we're going to do is clean this up a little bit and get it ready. So as you can see here, there's some big old chunks of skin and fat here. I just want to clean some of this stuff up. You know, I don't want to necessarily serve this big old giant chunk of fat here to the family. It's not needed. There's plenty of fat in this piece of pork here to add that flavor that we're looking for. So I'm just going to square that off a little bit here. You know, the idea of this is really to make a Christmas ham. You know, you want that saltiness in the meat. You want that sweetness out of the glaze that we're going to put on this thing. You know, a little brown sugar on it and those kind of things. You know, but when let's go ahead and flop this over here and take a look at the backside. The backside actually looks pretty good here. You know, it's got a nice short snout here of what we'd call a snout, it looks good. Here's where we want to score this. You know, we don't want to leave this here. There's two schools of thought. There's some people that want to cut all this off and just have it there. You know, add to the texture, add to the looks of this thing. I'm going to leave this on, except we're going to score this and make like a check pattern of 1-inch checks. So we'll go ahead and take a nice sharp knife and go ahead and cut down it. Let's see here. It's a little bit tough here, but you can see it'll get right through it. So we don't want to go down deep into the meat by any means. We just want to score this up and have an area that we can let the solution get down underneath that skin. So you see me, I'm working with these black gloves on. Watching a couple of videos from my past here, I see a lot more of the barbecue team start to use these, and after you use them for the first couple times, you realize how nice it is. You know, it minimizes some of the cross-contamination that goes on with touching multiple foods. It makes for easy cleanup. You know, you can get these and get some glove liners underneath it to be able to handle some hot food, all that stuff. So let me get to cutting here. Alright, this bigger knife I got here is working a little bit better, so I'm just going to cut this up across here. Get that all nice and big old nice check pattern on there. It's looking good. It's going to open this up so we can get some of this cure in there. You know, if you don't cure this, if the cure doesn't get down inside of this, what's going to happen is when you cut it, it's going to have some big old brown spots in it. It's going to be really good, but it just won't have that saltiness that you're expecting out of it. There we go, it's looking good now. Alrighty here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this ready for the brine here. I am going to inject some of the brine inside of this to help it get down deep down inside of there, and then we'll get this set up for the cooler. Alrighty. So I got my pot of cure here. I got a nice aluminum pan here. I'm gonna toss this ham up into here. So, you know, there's a lot of people that try to inject when they're just using a cutting board or something. You know, my cutting board is nice. It has nice deep ridges of water's coming off, or injections coming off. But this will make sure that your wife stays happy with you, your husband stays happy while you're working in the kitchen. So I'm going to put some injection. It looks dark in my pan here, but as you can see, it's fairly light fluid. And then we're just going to do some injection here. Try to get deep down in there and get some of this, get this fluid down by the bone there. Let it work inside out. You know, you see this crazy injector here. I'll put a link to it down in the description down here. I started using originally some of those injectors that you'd get like at Walmart or the cheap ones on Amazon. And I really found that those are just really disposable units. You know, this one, and I have one from Malcolm Reed that is a really nice one as well. They pay for themselves the first time you use them. I mean, you know, I can control how much goes in there. It's an easy squeeze on it. I can adjust it. So I do want to make sure that I get enough in here that's you know, I don't need to drown the thing in cure here, but I do want to make sure I got some done in there to get the inside of this all worked out. I think at this point we're going to get this thing ready to put in the brine bag and get in the cooler. Okay, so what I've done here is I have a nice cooler that I like to use. Makes it easy. I can put ice in it. I can keep it cool the whole entire time. I got one of the just one of the big turkey brining bags. Easy to find at your grocery store if you want. Order it on Amazon or something like that. But I have that in here, and I have our ham inside there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cure here now and just pour this in over the top. Alrighty. Now it's not going to, let me get some of this stuff out of here, some of the good old peppercorns in here. That is not going to cover the top of that. So we are going to need to put some more extra fluid in on the top of this. At this point, there's two schools of thought. Top it off the rest of the way with some nice cold water, or add something else in there that you want. Maybe you want to do some apple juice. Maybe you want to, do something else. I'm going to use some cherry Dr. Pepper. Try to add a little bit more sugar into it. And I really like really like doing that with my meat there. So we'll be back, and so what I have here is I put about a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper in here. I use the cherry Dr. Pepper, just the regular stuff. There's a super high concentrated amount of sugar in soda. Use Coke, I like the little bit extra sweetness that the cherry gives it. And then I topped it off with some filtered water again. And I'm just going to pour this right over the top of this, just to make sure that this ham is covered up in here. I want this thing fully submerged, and we are going to seal this up. We're going to put some ice on it, keep it nice and cool. And when I see you again, we're gonna have this ham out. We're gonna smoke it. I think this concludes the video chapter 1 here, and I'll separate these out. We'll have a whole nother one for how to smoke it and how it turns out. So stay tuned.